All right, welcome everyone to today's episode. We are going to be focusing on releasing old identities. So, I have been making so many identity shifts, and really all that means is I'm feeling safe to really step into more of who my authentic self is, which is so timely as I am currently enrolling for my newest offering, my program Authenticity Unleash. We sold out of the pre-sale and we have 2 spots left, and 6 spots have already been sold. This has been the quickest any of my programs have sold like ever. And to me, that just means that the universe is confirming that this program is so needed, so next level, like in a whole different energetic realm of just like power and potency and transformation. So I'm really excited to bring it to you guys. It starts September 27th, Friday, and then it goes through November 1st. So it's going to be 6 Fridays, 6 group coaching calls. You get in between Slack support, and you get an entire 5 module course. So literally insane value for such a good deal. It's currently on sale for $777 before it goes to its final landing place of $999. So if you would like to meet your authentic self and really get clear on the ways in which you've been relating from your inner child, your trauma, your wounding versus your most authentic self. Oh my God, I just got a notification from the WAG app, like the dog walking app, and it's like, you're dog walking, very demure, very mindful. I'm like, oh my God, these trends are literally reaching the dog walking apps. Like, what? So fucking funny. Anyway, so yes, DM me if you would like to learn more about that. I am so, so excited. So, as always, the universe is perfect with perfect divine timing. And okay, guys, sorry, I forgot to turn off my notifications, and I'm getting just like the most funny synchronistic timing notifications right now. If you guys remember my stories from yesterday where I was sharing how I met someone in from the site Trusted House Sitters because I'm looking for house and animal care for my trip in September. And then he was like, wait, what do you do for a living? This is what I've been looking for. And now he just messaged me asking me about my work and my session. So it's just, again, such a Rachel story of like the shit happening and being like, this is so fucking magical. I love it. Okay, so as always, the universe is perfect and it orchestrates the timing of what I meant to teach with what I'm personally moving through. So I had come up with the idea for Authenticity Unleash like a million years ago, but I knew that I had not fully landed in my most authentic self. So I was like, I need to go first before I can teach it in integrity and really walk the walk and embody this of what I want to teach you guys. And so I'm so excited to share with you the most recent identity shift, which may not seem like a big deal to those who eat meat, but for me, those who know me, I've been a vegetarian most of my life. And just this past week, I started eating animals again. And the reason why this is so significant is because I uncovered with my mentor, she helped me process through the root of why I was not listening to my body. So, long story short, I would go through these phases with meat where I would eat meat and then I would not eat meat, and then I would eat meat and not eat meat. And then the last time was in grad school, and that was about 10 years ago. So, it's been a decade where I've not had meat, and I haven't had one of those phases. I think last year I had maybe like one bite of chicken because I started craving it. So this is what happens. My body craves meat. I have like a bite of it and then I don't eat it again for like another decade. That's been kind of my pattern. And it just was bringing up so much for me because I'm on this health journey. I'm on this journey of building my dream body. I've talked to you guys about this, and I am just a couple pounds away from my dream weight. I've, been focusing on my health on a whole other level and really just stepping into my adult self on a whole other level when it comes to my health, when it comes to my business, just every area of life. And so this was something where my body was just getting louder and louder of like the normal vegetarian protein that I would eat, like pumfu, tofu, tempeh, seitan, beans, eggs, yogurt, stuff like that. Protein powder. Like normally in the past, when I would crave protein, I could have like a veggie protein shake, like a vegan protein powder, and it would satisfy that craving. But this time it was not doing that. And my body was just like visualizing eating a burger. And I was like, what's happening? Like, this isn't me. And it really scared me. And so you might be wondering, well, what's scary about eating meat, right? And it's not that eating meat is scary, it's that it felt scary to actually allow my identity to shift and to not tie my identity to something outside of myself anymore. Because the whole thing is like, we attach on to who we are in every stage of life, and then we don't allow ourselves to evolve. So for me, people knew me as a vegetarian. And then the other key part in this that my mentor and I uncovered was that it was directly tied to my special wound. So for those that have listened to this pod and this Morning Tea Live before, you know that I have a special wound. And that special wound essentially just means that I, instead of fully embodying this innate specialness of I'm special because I am me, that I have been conditioned through getting sick at such a young age, through being that therapist friend that friends would come and talk to, through external things outside of myself to make me feel special. So I was kind of like local famous when I was 2 for having cancer. And that made me feel special of like, oh, I'm known as the girl who survived leukemia. And obviously that's not really what I want to be known for. But it was just a lot of where that special wound developed. And so my special wound was showing up with this vegetarian identity of like, well, I want to be the one to show myself and to show others that you can be healthy and be vegetarian. It was like my ego was so attached, and it wasn't, my ego was protecting me from just actually owning the fact that I'm special with or without a vegetarian identity, with or without a cancer survivor identity, with or without the therapist identity. Like that's why I had so much perfectionism around my own healing journey, because I'm like, oh, my ego says, well, I'm the therapist, I'm the healer, I should know how to do this. And it's like, but I'm fucking human. And the biggest part of healing is actually realizing that nothing outside of yourself determines if you're worthy or special or enough. You are literally just worthy, special, and enough. Like it gets to be that simple. But because we're not taught that and we're not ingrained that from a young age, we then associate these outside things with our identity. Like, oh, I'm only special because this person chose me to do this, or I'm only special because this person wants to date me, or I'm only special because I can be the cancer survivor. I'm the one who can be healthy as a vegetarian. It's like this proving little girl energy. And at the end of a long boxer day with my coach, where we were really just like moving through all these overthinking thoughts I was having of like really not understanding, like I was never taught as a kid, like animals can be food and pets, right? Like to me, it was my black and white thinking of it feeling conflicting of like, if I won't eat my dog or my cat, why would I eat a cow or a bird? Like it just never made sense to me. And it felt like one of those things in society that's normalized, that's not actually normal. But then my coach helped me tap into my ancient wisdom because I'm an old soul. This is my 43rd lifetime. uh, you can get an Akashic record reading done to find out how old your soul is. And I was really much attaching on to this lifetime, this childhood of like, oh, well, I didn't learn this in childhood. And she's like, but you don't have to attach on to that. Like you get to literally tap into not just the wisdom of this lifetime, but your soul's wisdom. And my soul's wisdom knows that there's death in life. Death is part of life. And so I was relating to food from this very little girl energy of like, well, if it grosses me out, then I'm not going to do it, rather than my adult, powerful woman self coming in and saying, you need protein, you need to listen to your body, and your body's asking for it. And my biggest protector is comparison, where I would be like, well, if this vegan trainer can be vegan, how come I can't be healthy and be vegan? And I would always say, like, I believe that I can be healthy if I decide I'm going to be healthy. So I would just like decide I'm going to be healthy as a vegan. And so I would do all the things that I would know how to do, or I guess as a vegetarian, never, I was full vegan for a little bit, but not very long. Ironically, I was full vegan in New York, and I thought that in California it would be like the place to do it. And then when I moved here, I was like, no, I need to eat eggs. So anyway, the whole point is like, I wanted to prove to myself I could do that. And it's like, well, why can this person be healthy? First of all, I don't actually know anyone's health, right? I'm not in their body. And second of all, it doesn't fucking matter, because that's actually just an avoidance of trusting myself. And that's the root we got to, is that I wasn't actually just trusting myself. And so I'm like outsourcing my safety and power of like, well, if this person can be healthy, how come I can't be healthy? Rather than trusting, doesn't fucking matter what anyone else is doing. My body is asking to eat animals again. And my ego and my fear and my little girl grossed outness about it, of like, ugh, like, I don't want to think about that. Like, it grosses me out to eat a living thing. That was getting in the way. And it was becoming this like dramatic thing where when I would go to the cafe and order salmon, it was this little girl energy of like, oh my God, this is so gross, I can't do it. And I would get attention for it. Like the cashier would be like, you can do it, da da da, and cheering me on. You guys may remember my stories. I posted stories about it that day. Again, when I teach you guys these things, it's not that I'm exempt from these moments of my inner child coming out. I share stories and moments like that where I'm like getting attention for me eating salmon for the first time. And that is all little me. And I can hold her and I can love her and I can say, you know, I'm sorry that you were not taught that this doesn't have to be this big, scary thing. And it also, I'm so sorry that you were not taught that you are special, regardless of what you eat or don't eat. Like, it doesn't have to be tied into that. And so meeting our authentic selves and releasing old identities is about really shedding everything that we have attachment to that makes us feel how we want to feel on the inside. That's what building internal safety is all about, is we don't need those external things anymore to make us feel how we want to feel. We get to feel how we want to feel just because we are innately able to do that. And so there's like this feeling of softening of all of the ego flare-ups and special wounds and trauma responses, just kind of like the waves, like not waving as much, like just like this softening, this evening out, this homeostasis, this balancing. And it's really fucking powerful, because the thing is like, you know, my co-leader Anna and I, during our men's group, we always talk about like, it's never about the dishes, right? You and your partner arguing about the dishes. It's never about the dishes. And so with this, even though I was getting this attention, and little me was seeking this validation of like, look, I'm eating chicken and give me attention for it. It's because I felt so misunderstood and invalidated and alone as a child, where my whole family ate meat. And so I felt like the odd one out. And then instead of being able to understand like my own experience or where that came from, like, is it actually authentic? Does your body actually, is your body actually asking for not eating meat? You know, we're not taught this growing up, of how to listen to our bodies. And so for me, it just became like this thing where I was the odd one out, where I would get attention for it. And I didn't like that attention that I got for it, because it would be this thing where we would go to a restaurant and be like, oh, is there anything for you to eat here? And it would make me feel so annoyed of like, stop making it a big thing. Like, I can find something to eat anywhere. You don't have to like make my vegetarianism this big thing. But we have to understand, from a nervous system perspective and an attachment perspective, negative attention is still attention. So that's why when you're training a dog and your dog barks and you say, no, don't bark, you're giving it attention. So even though it's negative attention, and it's attention that consciously we don't want, our nervous systems still love attention, because it helps us feel seen, like, oh, we're not forgotten about. It helps us feel safe. And so it's really about understanding that we all need attention. What type of attention do you want? I don't want negative attention anymore. Now, again, that doesn't mean, oh, I have to uh eat meat so I don't get attention as a vegetarian. It's not about that. It's understanding that no matter what, right? No matter if you're a vegetarian, you're eating meat, whatever your identity shifts that you're experiencing are, it's about looking at how you have gotten attention for attaching onto that identity. And for me, I have wanted attention for eating meat this week, and I just had to own that and be like, hey, this feels like a really big deal because of what it represents. It represents me stepping into my adult self, me actually listening to my body, me not letting my inner child who just didn't have an understanding of the cycle of life, where it just never felt normal, where it felt icky, where it felt like, am I a bad person for hurting animals, right? Like all of these thoughts that would go into it, and me being able to actually be in that middle gray area and heal that black and white thinking of like, I can love my animals and I can love animals and I can still use animals for nourishment and to support my health. And those two things used to feel conflicting, and that comes from little you. When things feel conflicting that actually coexist, like pain and joy, light and darkness, death and birth, when those two things feel conflicting, that's a younger part of you who doesn't understand that those two things don't actually conflict. They're two sides of the same coin. So, yes, I have living animals in my home that I love and appreciate and feel like my babies. And again, my mind would be like, well, how come these are pets but not cows? And it's like, part of it is just trusting that you don't have to understand everything. Number one. Number two, God created things the way that God created. And there's a difference between saying, well, there's wars in the world. Well, God just created that. And like not taking responsibility for shifting things that are really fucked up, even with eating meat, right? Like I will never condone the farming in like the way that there's mass production of slaughterhouse, all like I do not condone that at all. And that's why now I'm very much being intentional. Like since I'm learning about this and reparenting myself around it, I'm Googling, where does this chicken come from that I'm about to eat? Oh, it comes from a local farm and they were pasture raised and organic and got sunlight and grass fed and grass finished and all the stuff. It's like, that is that middle ground. If I'm not going to go from not eating meat at all to then eating mass produced meat, no, I'm going to do things in an intentional way. And that is coming from powerful woman energy. So again, for some people, your body might genuinely be like, oh no, I feel better without meat. And others, you might be like, I genuinely feel better with meat. And whatever it is, it's not about the thing, it's about honoring you. And this is all such a rooted example of how we are not taught to connect to our bodies, to our intuitions, how we are literally wired in this society to look outside of ourselves for the answers, for, just all of it, like for our safety, for our power, for just trusting ourselves. Like we never learn how to trust ourselves and actually turn inward. And so me actually eating meat this week and being like, okay, like it's okay that I feel a little grossed out. Just like anything, it's going to feel more normal. Any change you want to make, it's going to feel a little like unknown and weird. Like I've never cooked meat before. That's unknown. So then I'm like, oh, is that going to be gross and slimy? And then I'm like, oh, I get to create a new story around this. I get to create a new narrative around this. And the thing is there's always a difference between when you're forcing something out of alignment because you think you should be doing that versus when your body is very clearly communicating or the universe is very clearly communicating and you're just choosing not to listen because your ego's in the way or your special wound's in the way or your attachment's in the way. So really the root of all of this was that I was triggering the special wound of I can be the one to be healthy and attach on to this identity. And God wouldn't want me to have to choose between my desires and my health. And that's the thing is like my desire is health and me attaching on to the way in which that has to look of like it has to be vegetarian for me to be healthy. That's me trying to control it rather than actually listening to my body. The universe gives us what we need to get to what we want. So if I want a dream body, if I want dream health, if I want next level energy and health and vitality and feeling alive, then the universe is going to give us what we need for that. And for me, it was needing to trust my body. And so I want you to apply this to any identity that you're attaching onto. Where are you attaching onto? It has to be this. Or, I got an email this week asking me if I wanted to renew my therapy license. I'm no longer that type of therapist. Like, yes, part of me will always be a therapist, but that word doesn't even resonate as much anymore because I'm not in that world anymore. And I worked very hard. I spent a lot of time and energy and money and studying for years to be in that world. And so it could be so easy to attach on and say, well, now I got to stay in this world because I worked so hard to get here. But that's when we get stuck and out of alignment. And that's when symptoms show up like inflammation and stress in the body and anxiety and depression because we're not listening to ourselves. We're not allowing things to flow and ebb. And we attach on to like, well, this, but I'm this. And it's like all of that led to this. So it's not like that was a waste. All of that led to me being here, talking to you and teaching you and being with you in this community, which feels so much more in alignment. And talk about ego. My ego was so inflamed when I first started this business. I was embarrassed to tell my therapy friends, like my friends that I went to grad school with and, past therapy jobs, that I was running a business off of social media, off of Instagram. I was so embarrassed. Like when they would ask me, well, how do you get clients? Because they were setting up their fancy Psychology Today profiles that I had always dreamt of doing, that I was about to do when I was about to get licensed, and then decided I wasn't going to move forward with my license. I was so embarrassed. I'm just sitting with that because that felt so real. And I was embarrassed about it because I didn't take this seriously. I didn't take myself seriously. I didn't trust that this could be just as impressive, just as celebratory, just as worthwhile, just as something to be proud of than my friends who were doing the Psychology Today profiles. And now when people say, well, how do you get your clients? I'm like, oh, I run a business off of Instagram, and it feels so like easeful, right? It feels so like, oh my God, like I didn't actually need that, by state degree or license and all these things to prove that I have gifts to offer the world, right? It's like it actually gets to be as easy as there's a free app that I can show up and share my heart and share my wisdom and help the world heal. And that's how I run my business. Like I don't actually need a board to be watching over me. I don't actually need a board to be arguing with around my hours because they rejected them even though I had more than enough. And they rejected them based on things that they told me to do. They said, oh, you have 100 hours of supervision. Great, you're good. And I said, but are you sure I can work these hours without being supervised, even though I already have my 100 hours of supervision? Oh, yeah, as long as you have the 100 hours. Oh, what happens? They email me, oh, we did not approve your hours because you did not have supervision during these hours. Crazy making, crazy making. Like, I literally asked you if I needed supervision for those hours. So that experience of being in the therapy world, and again, I have friends where that is in alignment for them. My dad, he runs a private practice. He fucking loves it. Like that is in alignment for him. And thank God, because we need people who do all the different roles and all the different things. But the point is that I felt my soul being squashed because I was arguing with a system that is completely, completely broken, not functional, dysregulated, and perpetuating the very trauma that we're supposed to be healing. And so I was like, fuck this. And knowing me, and you guys know me, I can be very relentless. And when I got that email, rather than saying, I'm going to fight them on this, rather than allowing my supervisors to resubmit the paperwork like they had offered to do, and it could have been an easy fix. Instead, the way that it landed in my body was the universe is confirming this is not meant to be anymore. So what did I do instead? I fucking burned 8 years, 2, 6, 7, 8, 6, 7, 8, 8 years, 8 years worth of, well, I guess technically I started tracking after grad school. So 6 years, whatever the fuck it is, a long chunk of time tracking hours, counting hours every week to see how close I was to licensure. Why did I want the license? To be my own boss, to get out of the system, and to make more money and to have more impact. What did I actually need to have all four of those things? Not my license. I found another way. Here we are. I'm having way more impact than I would have doing private practice, making way more money than I would have doing private practice. I'm out of the therapy system. And what was the fourth one? Therapy system. Oh, and to be my own boss. So it's like I already I already had achieved those four things in a different way that is in so much more alignment. So again, it goes back to the universe gives us what we need to get to what we want. If I wanted those things and my mind was attaching onto, well, in order to get these four things, I need to do it this way, that's me attaching onto the how. And then the universe comes in and is like, boom, you don't actually need that how. You don't actually need to do it in that way. Like you get to do it in a way that is so much more in alignment. And that goes for anything that we want in life. And that's why when people say, well, I want more money, or I want, this job, or I want this person, or I want this thing, and we're attaching on to the thing, why? What do you actually want? Oh, you want to feel safe by having more money. You want to feel loved by having that person. You want to feel in your purpose by getting that job promotion. We get so disconnected from what it is that we actually want. And then we block ourselves from being able to feel it and embody it and achieve it in this present moment without waiting for the person, for the job, for the money, for the thing. I've had the most abundant August, like the most abundant month in my business of all of 2024. And you know why? Because I don't actually need that anymore. Before I was grasping on for clients, for money, for stability, for consistency, for safety. And I was able to give myself that in a different way where I don't actually need that. And so when we're shown that we don't actually need something, we then stop grasping for it and then we allow it to come in. So think about anything that you want in this present moment and how you might be attaching on to how you're supposed to get it. And understand that when you release and let go of that attachment, when you release and let go of that need, and I understand we need money to live. I understand we need love. I understand we need connection. But when you understand that you already have all of those things literally innately within you, even when I was having a slower season where I wasn't getting physical money or clients, the universe was supporting me in like the most beautiful ways. Like I really wanted a new dining room table and chair. I don't have a place to eat, so I eat at my desk or I eat on the floor. And I really wanted a table and chairs, but I didn't have the money to get it. I take a walk and I live in a very wealthy neighborhood. So people leave out nice shit all the time. And the universe is like, use what you have before grasping for more. And so what did I do? I walked down the street and I found these dining room chairs and I took them in. And now the other day I walked out and I found a table. It's not the table though. It was very wobbly. And I was like, this is not it. This is not it. But I guarantee you that I will find a table on the sidewalk and it will be the table. Like, mark my words. And so the whole point of all of this is that when we attach on to what we think we want based on what we think we need, and then we realize and we're faced with our worst fears of not having that thing, and we realize we're actually still supported, we're actually still safe. I know someone that's homeless and living in their car right now, and that was literally their worst fear, was getting evicted and living in their car. They needed to go through that to face their fear. And I kid you not, this person is doing better than they've ever done before. They have gotten more in shape, they have deepened their faith, They have gotten consistent work. Like when we face our fears and we realize we're safe. Like I had such fear around eating meat again, which I know might sound silly to you guys for those that are used to eating animals, but for me, it was very uncomfortable. For me, there was so much fear in releasing this ego and this identity. And same thing with releasing my identity as a therapist. Like we are meant to grow and evolve. We are meant to shift. We are meant to release old identities. We are not meant to hold on and be the same person for the rest of our lives. That's not growth. If you remember, your soul came here on earth to literally just grow and learn and experience and be present. And how are we supposed to do that if we're grasping on to the same identity, the same thing? And so I give you permission and give you reassurance that you are safe to literally just be here in this present moment with this current version of yourself and allow yourself to become who you were always meant to become. And the way that I describe authenticity is that there's a chunk of core anchors that will not shift. Your authentic self has faith. Your authentic self is wise. Your authentic self is powerful. Your authentic self has internal safety. Your authentic self is abundant and expansive. And then there's these core parts of authentic you that do shift and grow and evolve. So while anchoring to these things that are true for you and coming back to them, authentic you knows how to relate to her emotions. There are these things that are evolving of, oh, at that point in my life, I was vegetarian. That felt authentic in that moment, but also was wrapped up in a lot of trauma. So it wasn't fully clear if it was authentic. There may have been parts of it that were authentic, but not fully authentic. And now I'm evolving and allowing myself to listen to my body. My body might say something different tomorrow, right? In every moment, my body might say, okay, I'm really craving chicken. Okay, tomorrow I'm really craving a nice kale salad. Like you have to allow the flexibility, which is the divine feminine, in the structure of the divine masculine. And this is what we are diving into in Authenticity Unleashed. We get to truly process all of the stored pain in your body, reparent little you, and your mind will be so freaking blown of how you've been relating from attachment, wounding, trauma, survival mode, rather than your authentic self. And I'm telling you, when my mentor and I uncovered this on Thursday, and we uncovered just how much of this choice was based on ego and attachment and the known familiar safety and wasn't actually at all authentic. And I was like, holy fuck, this was such a sneaky way that little me was running the show. Like your body always knows, and your ability to listen to that and feel safe to listen to that is your most powerful, authentic self. So if you are ready to meet your most authentic self, we only have 2 spots left. I'm telling you guys, I've never sold out a program as quickly as I have. And I swear it's because this identity releasing has taken so much courage and so much internal safety that the universe always rewards courage. And so as I'm releasing these identities and stepping further and further into my authentic self, the universe is rewarding it of like, yes, here are all these people that need this, that need exactly what you just did with yourself and need this for them too. So we have 6 incredible women. Like when I tell you guys, this is a dream group. I couldn't have created a better group myself. Like this was all the universe being perfect. It's old clients that have been wanting to return, who were not able to return until now, who have told me like it was my biggest regret leaving this work, because sometimes you think you're ready to leave and just go out in the world, but then you're like, oh wait, I want to keep growing. I want to keep expanding. But it's okay. Sometimes that's part of the journey. That's part of non-attachment, is letting people come and go as they are meant to on their journey. And then there's current clients, and then there's new clients that have been wanting to do this work with me for so long and have been manifesting it. And now the time has come. And it's just this perfect divine orchestration of like, it's a shorter program. So I was able to make it a lower cost. It's short and potent and transformative. Like you will leave these 6 weeks having such a deeper connection and understanding of your actual authentic self. And it's the most incredible, powerful feeling in the world. It can be a little scary to be like, what? That wasn't really me? I wasn't supposed to be a vegetarian my whole life. I wasn't supposed to be a therapist my whole life. Like, but that's who I am. And that's, like how I've gotten to know myself. Well, turns out you can get to know yourself all over again in a way that's actually rooted in grounding and truth and authenticity rather than ego and trauma. So I'm so excited to offer this to you. It's currently on sale for $777. Payment plans are available. And the final landing price is going to be either $999 or $1111. I'm still kind of feeling into that. So the price will be going up soon. There's only 2 spots left. I'm capping it off at 8 because I did launch it on 8/8, the Lines portal. And so I was like, you know what? We're gonna cap it at 8 because that'll still give us a really beautiful, intimate container while also allowing just like a really full group community feel. So we have 2 spots left. If you would like to meet your authentic self, process your stored pain, and literally shift in more ways than you can even begin to imagine, and bring in abundance and aligned connections, money, opportunities. You want to create your business. You want to just feel less anxious. You want to just feel more connected. This is the program for you. I'm so, so, so freaking excited for it. It starts September 27th. It'll be right after I come back from vacation. So I'll be in very just like good energy to lead it with. And it's just going to be so good. And you get in between support as well as the full self-paced course that you have lifetime access to. I'm so excited. All right. Thank you guys so much. Do we have any questions, thoughts, comments? Let me just catch up on the comments here. April, I love you, April. Celebrating and loving you. You're so amazing. Love hearing and seeing you. Yes. Oh, I love you so much, April. April just had a baby, literally the cutest baby in the world. And she's such a powerhouse, and it's just like motherhood is just looking so perfect on you. So I'm just celebrating you as well. Anyway, I love you guys so much. Thank you for being here. Let me know if you have any questions. I'm so excited for all the things. And thank you for all of you that have been celebrating with me. Like, it's been a lot of discerning energy between my old version of relating to eating meat, which was like this dramatic energy of like, I need validation. And then being able to feel the difference in my body of like, oh, wait, I genuinely am wanting to celebrate this. This is so fucking huge for me. And I'm going to keep celebrating it because it feels really big. It's me stepping into my adult self. It's me honoring my body. It's me building my dream body and turning that into reality. It's me actually prioritizing myself over other beings. Like, my coach literally told me, I think you have codependency with the animals. Like, you're literally sacrificing your health for these animals. And I'm like, you're so right. That's codependency. That's my anxious attachment. So these things show up in such sneaky ways. And this is me claiming to the universe, because my coach literally told me, this is your next level. And I kid you not, the next day after eating meat, I received a pay in full payment from a client for 6 months of one-on-one. And this was one of the first full packages of one-on-one that I'd received in 2024. And it's like, we both just felt so clear. This is my next level, because again, it's not about the meat or not meat. It's because it represents me claiming to the universe, I'm ready to fully take care of myself. I'm ready to fully own who I am. I'm ready to fully choose me. I'm ready to fully be an adult and be in my leadership, because how am I supposed to lead worldwide impact if I'm running on low energy and I'm deficient in amino acids and Ferrozorb and all these things, right? It's like, this is me saying, I'm ready to take care of myself so that I can actually hold more people, hold more humans, hold more responsibility. And it's so funny because the other night I found this account that was all about like pain-free childbirth. and I was watching all these birthing videos, and I was really sitting with, you know, one of the biggest identities that I used to attach onto was that I was meant to become a mom, that I always wanted kids. And then after doing this work, I realized the urgency around that was my codependency because I didn't know how to just be with myself. And now that I actually am prioritizing myself, I'm in no rush to have kids. I don't even know if I want kids anymore. But it was one of those things where I really could see it either way, where I'm open to both, where I'm open to whatever God has in store for me. I could be happy either way. And that is the most beautiful place to land in, is like, I don't need this thing to be happy. Before it was like, I need to be a mom. And now it's like, oh wait, I can be a mom to myself, and I am a mother goose to my clients and my community. And so maybe that maternal energy that I felt my entire life has been meant to be poured back into myself and the worldwide community that I meant to create and develop. Or maybe I'm meant to have my own kids one day. I don't fucking know. But either way, it's so great not to need to know. Like, it's fucking freedom. It's this full feeling of surrender and trust of whatever is meant to be is going to be. I don't need to control it. I don't need to know. I just need to listen and honor to myself in every single moment. And that's all. It gets to be that simple. And it feels really hard to embody that when you still have stored pain in your body, when your inner child is not feeling safe to release control. So that is the work. The work is to build that internal safety, process that stored pain, reparent your inner child so that you actually feel safe to release that control and all the other protectors like need to know. Control and need to know were literally my biggest ones. So, all right, I'm glad this is landing. Love this. Yes, Queen, you give so much. Oh, I love you guys so much. So real. Absolutely. Thank you guys for being here. If you would like to claim the last 2 spots of Authenticity Unleashed, I would absolutely love to have you. This program is it's just everything. Like, it's truly everything. When you feel safe to actually embody and relate and live from your authenticity, you set yourself free and you get to experience life on a whole other level. So reach out. I love you guys so much. Mwah. Thank you for being here. Thank you for celebrating this new ever evolving identity with me and releasing the old ones that no longer serve us. And I'm excited to continue integrating, releasing the therapist identity, the vegetarian identity, enjoying animal protein in a very intentional, ethical, sacred way, and connecting to my ancient wisdom. And you have the power to do the same. All right. Mwah. Love you.